If you've watched my channel, you may know that I like poking fun at OpenMediaVault for being cumbersome to work with, have annoying prompts when you change things, and just not really being the most visually appealing thing ever. In reality, it's probably the best lightweight NAS solution that exists right now, and it's pretty much your best option when hosting storage on a Raspberry Pi. So when I saw that OpenMediaVault 8 was out, I figured I'd do my scheduled video release to see if version 8 is finally what stops me from being an OMV hater. Let's dive into it. Okay, so by the way, none of this is scripted. I just installed it on my machine over there. All I've done was log in once and do the updates. That's it. But first thing we're gonna do is read through the release notes. So here, OMV 8 Synchrony, I guess, is released. Here are the updates. Honestly, nothing too crazy here. Update to Debian 13. They replaced CPU freakutils. They replaced CPU freakutils with Linux CPU power, some user management updates, some other things down here, but nothing too crazy. Like, this is a pretty short list, and if you want to read the entire changelog, you can do that. But we're just going to dive into it. I don't really expect too much, but hey, you know, I'll be surprised. Okay, like I mentioned, all I did was install it, so we're just going to go into the web UI and log in. And why does it say shill? This video is sponsored by Cuktech and their 25,000 milliamp hour portable charger, the Cuktech 20. Look, man, when I travel, I have a ton of stuff. We're talking cameras, phones, multiple laptops, headphones, Nintendo Switch. Honestly, it's a bit ridiculous. So I need a portable charger that's both high capacity and compact, which this is. It fits nicely in my bag and can charge my MacBook Pro from 0 to 100 and still have some juice left over. And it can also charge my iPhone 3 times over. And that's why I brought it to CES, and it worked great. I even used it on the plane to power my travel router and laptop. At the actual event, we're talking about days of filming and offloading footage, and rarely did we have time to sit next to an outlet, so the Cuktech 20 came in handy. And it can output 140 watts from one of the USB-C ports, powering even the most beefy laptops. In total, you get 3 USB ports, so you can power all your devices. Like, hey, give me your phone. Yeah, both of you. And you may have noticed that there is a screen on the front, and this can be used to monitor the input and output to all of your devices. Remember having power banks that just showed you a couple of little dots to see how much capacity you had? Okay, Grandpa. So Cuktech 20 is a slick little device that'll handle all your power needs, so pick one up for yourself or a couple for your significant other using the link down in the description below. All right, so we're gonna log in here. If I would enter the right password. Okay, and I've done nothing. Like I said, this is the first time outside of just doing the updates that I'm going to be messing with this. And okay, welcome to OpenMediaVault. This was developed by me, heart and soul, a lot of commitment since 2009. If you like it, a small donation. Okay, look, I've talked mad shit on OpenMediaVault over the last few years. So you know what? 20 euros, what's that come out to? All right. We've donated. Now I don't feel bad if I say mean things. All right, right off the bat, it looks pretty much exactly the same as all the other OpenMediaVaults. The thing that is missing that I've kind of talked about and I'll continue to complain about is there's no kind of intro. There's no, hey, you have drives but no pool. Let me walk you through this, which some people don't care about, but a lot of people do. If you want this to be something that you can recommend to people a lot of times those people aren't experts. So just a little kind of walkthrough on setting up basic storage and sharing would be huge. Dashboard has not been configured. They're going to let you know that. So let's try it out. Let's say services, system information, updates, see what happens. Okay, again, looks the same. I mean, if you like OpenMediaVault, you're going to like this. If you don't, you're not. All right. So how about we just create some storage, which I assume is in storage. And if we go into file systems, there's nothing there yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one, possibly. Let's do Btrfs. And we are going to do, duplicate. There's no RAID 5. This is what we've run into before. So if the device is not listed here, it's because it contains a file system or partitions. Wipe the drives. So let's go in here. You can see we have 3 12 terabyte drives that we'll be using here. So let's wipe them. What? So I'm guessing I know what the problem is. It already has a RAID array on here. These are already being used in a RAID array, so I'm guessing it doesn't like that. And if I also remember correctly, there's no terminal in the web UI. So let's SSH in and see what we can find out. Bro, come on. Is the admin user not assigned to the right group? There's nothing here about users. I can't see any of it. Let's switch to dark mode. Like if I go into here, SSH, users must be assigned to the SSH group. Okay, why can't I get to the SSH group? Let's just create an SSH user maybe? Okay, I guess we just can't assign the default one there. Oh, there it is. We love to see it. Okay, let's try again. Okay, we're in. So there's our drives. You can see they're part of an MDADM RAID with RAID 5 on there. If you have a RAID array on your drives already, you may run into an issue. Make sure they're clear before you put them in, I guess. Oh, I typed it wrong. So now they're not part of the RAID array anymore, so I'm guessing we can wipe them in OpenMediaVault. Look at that. Look at all the stuff we're learning today. Voila. Wiped, wiped, wiped. Okay, let's create our file system. And it's really weird how they do this. I would like to see creating a RAID array separate from the file system, but it kind of seems like you do that all in one, which is kind of strange. Also, why no RAID 5? What if we switch to like ext4, XFS? What if we do XFS? Oh, you can't even do a RAID array on XFS. Do you have to install? Hold on. Do you have to go in and install a plugin for RAID? Well, I see why I wasn't detecting my MDADM RAID. Okay, let's do that then. So now, I guess, I assumed there would be something in here. Oh wait, multiple device. There you go. Okay, there we go. Here's where you can create your MDADM RAID. So here we're essentially just going to do what we had before. So if you had blank drives, this is where you would go. You would install the RAID plugin. Then you would go into multiple device under storage, select your devices, save. So it's resyncing everything, which will probably take a while, but that's to be expected. But I assume now we can go into file systems and create a file system on top of our RAID array instead of whatever it was doing before. So now we can go in and select if we want like ext4, XFS. If we do XFS, we should now be able to select the MDA. Okay, we can't yet. Oh, there was an existing file. Okay, this is weird. There was an existing file system on the RAID array, so it's still there. Interesting. So I'm assuming if you didn't have that there, that you'd be able to create the file system normally. I guess we'll just use this. All right, save. Yes, always. Well, that's fun. That's great. Super intuitive, right? And that's, I guess, has always been my issue with OpenMediaVault. Like, yes, it's lightweight. Yes, you can spin it up on any machine, and it works great as a NAS once you get everything configured, but just if you want the main functionality of it to be a NAS, just make the NAS features intuitive, like especially for newer users. And I get if that's not their target audience, but come on. I mean, some of these things don't have to be this difficult. Okay, we are mounted here. So if we go back to the dashboard, we should now see that we have a file system with nearly 22 terabytes. Great. All that just to get our storage built, which on other operating systems takes like maybe 30 seconds. So I guess at this point, the next step is to create a share. Let's see how difficult that is. So we're gonna go in, shared folders. I assume we have to create a shared folder. Let's create, let's give it a name, OMV share. We're gonna select our file system, the relative path, sure, that looks good. Administrators, we'll just say everyone for now, and hit save. Yes. So the question is, was it that easy to just create my shared folder? My guess is that SMB isn't turned on by default. So here's my guesstimate is that I'm going to try to connect and it's not going to work. Nope. So my guess is that SMB isn't on. Settings. Yes, it needs to be enabled. Now we'll leave this minimum SMB2. Sure. Great. Save. Okay. And what was over here? Oh God. So what was over here? So there's no share. So my guess is that that shared folder is a local share and not a network share. So I'm guessing I have to go into here and create and then select that shared folder. Now I'm remembering. That's fun. Inherit ACLs. Sure. We have everyone that can use it anyway. Great. Host allow, host deny. We don't need any of that. Hit save. Now, if I create a shared folder, maybe just a pop-up that says, would you like to share this via SMB? Yes. Okay, we're going to enable SMB. We're going to create that as a share, give you the configurations, and then you can click share. Am I wrong here? Am I going crazy? Are these unfathomable requests that I'm making here? Maybe I'm just being a bitch. Okay, let's try again. So maybe we should, if the ACLs were inherited and everyone has access, maybe our SSH user can access it? Great. Okay, surely I can create a file. Neat. Okay, there's our share. Ooh, buddy. Okay, so we have the basic functionality of a NAS. If all you wanted was a RAID storage array that you can share across your network, you can be done here. If you're using SMB, that's it. If you want NFS, I assume you have to do something similar. Go in here, enable NFS. There you go. If you go into settings, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. Shares, okay, you do the same thing. Select a shared folder. We can do the same folder, any host client. So you'd select the IP range or subnet here and click save if you want to use NFS. Great. And that's, I guess, the big things. If you go into networking, there's probably some basic settings here, your domain name, your host name, any interfaces you have. I know for a fact on this machine, I have 4 interfaces. So I guess I'd have to create it here, I assume. Okay, so there's my devices. If I wanted to create an interface for one of my 10 gig ports, I would do that here. We'll just say DHCP, no IPv6. This all looks good, sure, save. I also don't like that there's no information here. This should be connected with DHCP. If I go here, it just doesn't have any info. Oh, ENP101S 100S. Here's the actual info, which I can't really see. I can't scroll right either. Okay, but yeah, here's our IP address on 101. When I went to network interfaces, 101 was here, but the information's not. I don't know why. Firewall stuff, not even gonna get into that. The other thing is NAS these days, a lot of people want to use it as a Docker host to run your Docker containers. And if I remember correctly, that is not built into OMV natively. I think it used to be, but I'm guessing we have to go into system, plugins, nut server. There's some apps in here, which is cool, I guess. Photo Prism. You have Podman. Is there just no Docker? Okay. You have Kubernetes, but not Docker. So apparently you have to use OMV Extras, which is, I guess, a third-party support for this. So in here, so all I have to do is run the following command as root. Okay, so now we're installing OMV Extras. Again, somebody cared enough to add some more applications and Docker support to OMV to do this. So I guess if we go into System, OMV Extras, there you go. Enable the Docker repo, save. Now, I guess if I go back into plugins, there should be something for Compose. There it is. Now I can install that. Now we have Docker. So I guess we can use this where you can upload your, we'll just use OMV share, data. Same one, sure. Shared compose file, shared folder must be different. So let's create another shared folder for Docker. Everyone, save, services, compose, settings, shared folder, here, data, and Docker. I hate this. Okay, so now I guess looking in here, we have no containers. We have no compose files. Let me grab one. We'll just do this. Okay, and click on this. Click up. Downloading, pull. Great. But there's an issue with my Docker compose. I don't know. I'm not going to look into it, but that's where you put your compose files. Great. Okay, anyway, yeah, I mean, you can set up notifications if you want through SMTP. Great. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff in here, but I'm not going to do a deep dive. The main thing was diving back into OMV8 and seeing if some of the complaints about it being a NAS operating system have been addressed, like the complexity of setting up the most basic things, like a generic RAID array and a share. It seems to be the same. If you know how to do it, you can probably get it done, but I want to like it so bad. I really do. That's why I keep coming back, hoping that they've improved the UI and made things more simple for new users. And even people who have experience have issues with OpenMediaVault. But at the end of the day, I'll still recommend it for lightweight machines. I'll still keep trying. I'm hoping in OpenMediaVault 9 that they do a major rehaul of how it functions as a basic NAS, especially for new users. But hey, that's just my opinion. A lot of people like it. Some of you share my sentiment here. Let me know down in the comments what you think. But that's all I have for this one. If you like this video, I don't know why, but go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you maybe want to see that OpenMediaVault 9 video, because we're sure as hell going to do one. That's it. I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube members and my Patreons. You guys are my OpenMediaVault 8 maybe 1, where maybe they address some of these things, and you're totally awesome and easy to use. Y'all are the best. But if you're still watching, you're MDADM. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.